Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be starting a brand new series with the title Python for Engineers, and want to be looking at Python and how we can be able to harness the power of programming to help engineers solve their day-to-day problems and be able to complete their task and their goals at a faster pace than they have traditionally done it in the past. So we will start with one amazing question. Why should you learn Python as an engineer? Because if you are going to use Python, you need to know why should you use it. And so let us look at the various reasons why you should learn Python as an engineer. And the first one is Python, being a well-established programming language, can aid you to accomplish and solve complex engineering problems at a faster pace. Python has been there for quite some good time now, and it is a programming language which has been trusted by many developers and widely used by many software engineers. What does this mean to you as an engineer, as an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, medical engineer, or any other field? You don't have to be an engineer to need Python. What you are just doing is specifically here, I'm helping you as an engineer realize the areas in which you can use Python to really help you execute your task at a much more faster pace. So Python being a well-established programming language, it has been there for a while, and thus it has been developed so much, it is stable, it has many libraries which can help you solve many math problems in engineering and help you even plot data and visualize the various task and the things you want to solve by writing programs and smart programs which can help you in your day-to-day task. So the second one is Python is an easy to learn language, furthermore for the electrical engineers who already have a background in C programming language. There are so many programming languages out there, and we have languages like C, C++, we have PHP, we have SQL, we have Java, we have Dart, we have Go, and all these languages, they are good and very very efficient, but Python outstands all these languages. It is one of the languages which is easy to learn. It has a very friendly syntax. That means learning Python is much more easier as compared to languages like Java, languages like C++. It is easier to learn Python. And for electrical engineers, most electrical engineers ought to have a C programming language background, because these people are programming the machines, they design the electronics, and they have to learn how to program them. So these people are generally low-level programmers. So as an electrical engineer, it will be easy for you to catch up with Python. It will be actually much more easier since you have already been introduced to programming languages. You know how to deal with pointers, you know how to handle memory and all those things, so it will be easier for you. That doesn't mean that if you're a mechanical engineer and a medical engineer that you cannot do it. You can also do it as well. Actually, any engineer can become or has the potential to become a very efficient programmer, because if you can solve all those calculus problems, all those things you do engineering, then Python is something you can also do. So that is another reason as why you should learn Python. It's an easy language. It has a friendly syntax, and though you might find some concepts a bit challenging, but you will still go through them, and it is much more friendly. Then the other thing why we're looking at Python and why you should learn Python as an engineer, Python has got libraries that make it possible to solve complex mathematical problems, e.g. in calculus, which is the math language of engineers. If you're watching this and you're already in the engineering major, or you are looking forward to join engineering, you have a little clue or glimpse that most engineers, actually all engineers, have to go through calculus. Okay, you have to do the differential equation, you have to learn things like partial decomposition, all those things. You have to do integration, and and most engineers will proceed to do calculus 1, 2, 3, and up to calculus 4. So, and you find sometimes you have so many math problems to solve, and sometimes you might be in doubt and you want to know whether you are correct. That is when you are a student, when you are an engineering student, you would like to know whether you are correct. You could do a problem by yourself manually, and then you could use a Python program to confirm your answers, and which is much more efficient. For example, when you're not able to get in touch with your colleague or your professor or your lecturer, this could be come handy and could be of great help to you. Out there, when you're working in the field, it could be helpful for you to be able to solve complex calculus computations and other mathematical maths which are computationally heavy and requires a lot of time. Using Python programs or Python code, you can be able to execute those things faster thanks to the already made libraries in Python. One of the Python libraries that we're going to be looking is SymPy, which is a Python library which has a lot of these functions already implemented. When you talk of a library in a language, it means that you don't have to write the code that implements the execution of the differential equation, integration equations has already been there done for you. It has already been written for you. What you just have to do is to learn how to use those libraries to execute those mathematical computation you want to do to achieve the result. So this is another catch as to why you should learn Python as an engineer. Next, Python is easy to install. You just need to visit the original website or the official website for Python, and from there you can be able to install the Python interpreter. Now, you might be wondering, what is this Python interpreter? Python is a language in which, in other words, I would like to call a hybrid language. You know, most people will call Python an interpreted language. And what we mean by interpreted language is that this language has to be, it either goes through an interpreter in order to be interpreted into machine code. And then we have compiled languages like C, which have to be compiled in order to be converted into machine code. So there are a difference between a compiled language and interpreted language. So Python itself is both an interpreted and a compiled language. Someone might argue about that and say, no, Python is an interpreted language. Why do you say it's a compiled language at the same time? But Python is a language I would like to call a hybrid language, because one thing is that for Python, we have the interpreter, and inside the interpreter, the Python code is compiled and also interpreted. So Python is first compiled into what we call bytecode, and then the bytecode is interpreted by the interpreter into what we call the machine code, which your computer is able to understand. And so Python in itself is a language which we can clearly say it's a hybrid language. When you have come from a background of low-level programming, that is using C or C++, you are so much into what we like to call procedural programming, whereby in compiled languages we always say that during compilation all lines of code are executed at the same time, but an interpreter executes each line of code at a time. It executes each line of code at a time, so it is much more slower than a compiled language. A compiled language is much more faster than an interpreted language, but over time, due to the development of computers and the computational power, that might not be so much significant, or you'll not even notice so much change when using Python. So Python is still remains a catch for us as engineers. Now, having knowledge in Python gives you an added advantage as an engineer. Now, when you are having knowledge in Python, you are better off than an engineer who doesn't know Python. And that's for real, because you have a much more broader view. You can think at a much more angle, because as we say, coding helps you learn how to think. Programming helps you learn how to think. So when you understand Python, you are having a much more greater advantage. You can become a machine learning engineer. Aside from you becoming a mechanical, or electrical, or mechatronic engineer, you can become a machine learning engineer. You can decide to venture into AI, machine learning, deep learning, and all those kind of careers, you can also decide to venture into data science. There's quite a lot you can do with the Python programming language, as far much as you are interested and work really hard on it. So pursuing Python is something that is really uh, promising, and is a promising thing. And Python is a language which is here to stay. It's not a language that is going to die anytime soon, and so it's a language that is here to stay with us. It's a language that will last in your lifetime, and even many years later, as it continues to develop and become a language which I would like to call a language of the future. The other thing is that Python language is the most used programming language for artificial intelligence. Thus, it's a necessity for engineers, furthermore electrical and electronic engineers. Now, you might have heard of AI, or the artificial intelligence. It's something you hear nowadays. It's a much more used term, because right now it's the time when we are at an age where there is a lot of data. A lot of data has been disposed through the internet. When you fill your account, when you open your account, when you use your Google account to open website or whatever, you are giving data. When you post on your social media account, you are giving data. And right now there's a lot of data. Companies are mining data, companies are buying data, and there's a lot of data that is available for data scientists and for engineers to use to their advantage to create and design efficient and much more smarter systems. And this is where AI comes into place, and this is where Python comes into place. Python has been the language that has been chosen and trusted by most software engineers, by most developers, into developing artificial intelligence system. And thus, as an engineer, learning and understanding Python could help you a lot in understanding how this math system works, how AI works, how machine learning works, how all these new technology that is evolving and emerging, how it works. You are able to understand how, for example, how the machine learning algorithms works. For example, when you use Netflix, when you use YouTube, and you see that those platforms tend to bring to you the videos that are related to what you watch most, and each person, they are able to recommend their unique taste for each person. And this is where you find concept like OOP, and you find so much things to learn in Python. Remember, Python is an object-oriented programming language, so you'll be able to create things like objects and classes. It's a very fun language to learn, although I better be honest with you, there will be some challenges while with some concept in Python, but like anything else, everything has its ups and downs, and I believe that Python is not an exception. But at the same time, when you look at the advantages of this language, it's so much promising. There's so much more we could talk as to why you should learn Python as an engineer, and the purpose of this video will just be touching on the major ones, and I believe this summary I've given you is much more convincing to you that there's much more you can do as an engineer. You can go even out after learning Python and understanding Python. You can be able to understand how other languages work. You can be able to understand things like Java. You can go out and learn Java. You can go out and learn Kotlin, design Android applications, and this is the sweet part of it. When you choose to become an engineer, you choose to work, you choose to become a creator. So let us see the beauty of the creation. You choose to become a builder, and so use all these tools for your advantage. So now, what will we be looking in this channel? So the following are some of the major things we'll be looking at in this series. So number one, we will be solving differential equations in calculus using Python. So at least you'll be able to see how to do dy over dx, how to differentiate, to do differentiation like for x squared, all those. We start from the basics, building up to the much more complex calculations, and how to solve various problems in calculus using Python. After doing differentiation, we will go into integration. We solve integration equations in calculus using Python. We also also show you how to plot using Python, how to do plotting, and how to visualize data and to graph data using various Python libraries. We have pandas, we have NumPy, and all these things we shall be using them. We have matplotlib. We also have these other library as Seaborn, but mostly we'll be using matplotlib, which is much more easier to use and easier to comprehend as compared to Seaborn, and it also has so many tools to use to plot complex data and to do various computations to plot, yeah, to do various graphs plotting. Another one is solving logarithms using Python. We shall see how to do that. We shall also look at solving partial fraction decomposition equation using Python. We shall look into that. For those, if you've been engineer, you know what are partial fraction, what are partial fractions. You meet them, and you might even find them where you are finding yourself using differentiation, or where you want to differentiate a partial fraction decomposition. And it's quite a lot, so you will look into all that. The other thing is we'll perform trigonometric simplifications, identities, how you do them manually. We shall now see how to do them using Python. The other thing we shall look and much more details and tips in aiding. I shall give you much more details and tips in aiding you as an engineer to excel in your day-to-day activities. Myself being an engineer, I'm presenting to you problems that you face in each and every day and showing to you some tricks and tips you can use to maneuver through and be able to achieve the very best in your day-to-day activities. In this world, which is we are heading at a much more digital pace, it's good to catch up with the digital and to do things in a modern way. Traditionally, doing things traditional way is good, but we want to go in the modern way. Advanced, you should be more advanced and have a higher and an upper hand when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to its application. Because when you have a lot of knowledge, you can't apply it, then it's what is it for? So learn how to apply, practice, write code each and every day, and do your very best in whatever you do. So up to right now, I hope you are quite convinced that Python is a language for engineers. Remember, you code in Python and you become a super engineer. So with I think we've come at the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next video where we shall be writing code and learning how to solve the discussed problems, the problems that we have discussed. So do not forget to subscribe and link the bell icon so as not to miss any video posted on this channel. With all that, I say au revoir, bye bye. I see you guys next in our video as we start writing code, programming, and seeing how to use Python and make ourselves better engineers. Until next time, bye bye, and I wish you all the best.